Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Black Love Elevated, where we keep it real, respectful, and rooted in growth. It is tea time, y'all, and I'm here with my girls.
I'm Tobie.
Y'all already know I'm at.
And I'm Ash.
Yeah, so today's conversations, guys, I want to let you know it's going to be a little uncomfortable, but definitely necessary. But before we go into all of that, I want to turn it over to Ash. Let her tell you a little bit about the group, what we got going on, what Black Love Elevated is all about.
All right, thank you, Miss Ebony. So basically, Black Love Elevated is a group that was founded by these three young ladies that you see sitting in front of you right now. Basically, we are a group of married couples who get together. We hang out, we've developed friendships, we do different things together, such as activities. We're currently in the Georgia area. Hopefully, we'll be expanding soon. And we've been doing this for roughly a year now. With that being said, the relationships and friendships that we developed has put us just in a different spaces in our marriages. So we thought it would be a great idea to start our podcast and just kind of speak on whether it's pop culture or Facebook topics to bring us to light so you guys can learn a little bit more about us as people and then also our group and what we stand for. So I am now going to pass it over to Miss Tobie and she's going to tell y'all a little bit more about some of the events that we have and things that we have coming, child.
All right, so we definitely do get to go out, you guys. We go out, we like to have a good time, we like to chat it up with other couples, talk about real things. So coming up soon, we have in June we're going to the Great Big Game Show, which is at the Battery. We're gonna have dinner. We're gonna
Yes.
whoop the guys again at some trivia and like spin the wheel type shit, real game show stuff. It's really a lot of fun. In July, we're going to be doing a sneaker ball probably. So y'all, get those gowns ready, get those sneakers ready.
Yes.
We're going to be doing some New York shit. And when we go out, we don't just go out and have a good time. We also like to give out prizes. So you never know what you might go home with when you go out with BLE.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all look out for that. Check the events tab. Make sure that you RSVP. As soon as you see those events that you want to do, sign up. Make sure that you let us know that you're interested and you want to go so we can get them taken care of. So, guys, what are y'all drinking tonight?
Ooh.
Mm.
What you got in your cup, Ash? What's in your
So I got the,
glass?
I know, right? I got a little Crown and Coke made by
There
my
she
wonderful
go.
husband.
Oh, oh. That's your thing, huh? Well,
Mm-hmm.
Ash be getting catered to over there.
I know. I ain't get no drink brought down to me,
You
but
know
that's
what I'm
okay.
saying?
But I got me a
Yeah.
little I love me a margarita. I went lemonade style. I made this in my Ninja. It's kind of watered down now, but
Ooh,
it's still hitting just right.
that sounds good.
And I
Hmm.
got a little Cabernet over here.
Mm.
My go-to when I don't feel like making no cocktail, just open up that bottle and pour it in.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yes. Well, now that we have established all of that, ladies, I think it's time to jump into it. Like I said, today's conversation is going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but I definitely think it's necessary. A lot of people is talking about this. This was actually a Facebook question that was dropped in our box. And like I said, we talk about different things, but one thing that we vowed is we was going to keep it real, no filter, and just kind of give our opinions. That's what makes us us. So the first question that kind of came to light, and let me pull this up so I get it right. The question of the hour, ladies, is can women be abusive in relationships? And what happens when the man is the victim? Now, I want you to pause for a second because I know a lot of times it's all about when we think about abuse, we think about the man abusing the woman.
Mhm.
But, this kind of goes on both sides. I know in my situation, I'm a boy mom. I have boys. You know what I'm saying? So I've raised my boys to be respectful of women. Don't put your hands on women, all of these things. But again, the question is, can women be abusive in relationships? And what happens when the man is the victim? Ashley, I want to kind of turn it over to you first, and I want to hear your thoughts on this.
So I do want to kind of set the tone a little bit. Abusive is never okay, right? In either direction, whether it's a woman and a man and woman, man on man, woman and woman, whatever your preference is, as far as dating. For me, I think that this topic overall is important for us to discuss because I have known several people myself who've been in abusive relationships, meaning a man who was physically and mentally abused by a woman. For me, it's absolutely not okay. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. It is super important that we understand that keeping our hands to ourselves, which we learned in kindergarten, is one of the most important things. And I think personally, we have got to do better at holding ourselves accountable, especially women and men. Not to say that it doesn't, but this topic, we're kind of flipping it a little bit, but it is important for us to hold each other accountable, whether it's friends or whoever. And I mean, even to the fact of if we're talking about people who are not necessarily as comfortable in their relationships or they're getting cheated on or whatever, it still does not make it right in any form or fashion. So
Absolutely.
to me, I definitely think that a lot more women have fallen under that domestic violence umbrella than what we're willing to admit. What do you think, Tobie?
I definitely agree with you as far as, it can definitely go both ways. And I feel like a lot of times men are afraid, like they're victims too, but they're afraid to speak about it because people joke about them or they talk about them, they demean them, make it seem like, oh, you a punk, you can't fight back, or you gonna let a woman beat you up or do whatever. But I also think another side of that too, not just physical abuse that we think about, but also verbal abuse. A lot of
Mhm.
times it's not the women are abusing the men physically. We sometimes are very good at putting a man down verbally, and that could be looked at as a form of abuse as well.
Absolutely, I agree. Because I mean, we talking about emotional. So first, let me ask you, what does abuse look like, right? From a woman's perspective, how does that look? Because it's not always physical. How does that look? If you had to drop a couple, what do you think that abuse looks like?
I would
I,
definitely say, like, when you be like, when the man say a man loses his job, your spouse, he been paying the bills, he been doing whatever, he loses his job, or he just maybe, he may be feeling depressed. Even he may not even have to be nothing traumatic that has happened. He just feeling down about something, and you just like, tearing him down. You ain't worth this. You ain't worth that. You don't have this. You can't support me in this, and just tearing them down. That's what it looks like to me.
What you think,
yeah,
Ash?
I definitely think Tobie is right. Like the financial abuse is definitely big. I think some men have had that issue, and I think that's what makes them extremely uncomfortable in
Mhm.
relationships to rely on women at times, right? Even in times of struggle, not even speak because there have been moments where they felt like they could not necessarily lean on them due to, even though we don't want to label it as what it is, that financial
It's
abuse that they've
abuse.
gone through. So
Mhm.
I definitely think that that is a big one. Verbal abuse, another one. What Tobie said is huge as well. How
Hmm.
you're speaking to your spouse. I just personally try to stay away from, um, you know, putting people down in a way because even though you don't want to label it as such, doesn't matter. I'm talking about someone losing, like you said, Tobie, somebody losing their job or just not being what you think that you perceive them to be. Those are things that could qualify as abuse. And as women, sometimes I do feel like we take things as a joke when it comes to women.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And it's like, oh, this is funny. And we forget that men are actually humans. No matter
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the stereotypical situation is of men are supposed to be strong, they have feelings too. And I
Right.
learned that,
Absolutely.
like Eb said, I got a son, right? And I'm like, oh no, that's the one thing that I won't accept as a mother. And I've had the conversation with, whether it's his girlfriend or anyone he's dating, like y'all can have your arguments, y'all can do it, but do not put your hands on my son and try to refrain from the, verbal abuse because that's not him. You know,
Right.
so I totally agree with that. There are definitely different ways that it can happen. It's just like, how are we as women looking at it and how are we also having that discussion without being called? I think a big one is a pick me. Like people like to call women pick me's when you disagree with
Mm.
what other women do, which
Mhm.
literally, if the shoe was on the other foot, it would be a uproar. We know that. And I don't care about men being stronger than women. I don't care about men cheating. None of that matters to me. Leave, right? Like, but when
Right.
we start getting physical and all that stuff, we have to start setting some boundaries. If I'm gonna throw it back over to you, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I kind of take everything that you all are saying and I kind of put that all into the same bubble because yeah, we talk about physical abuse, right? No, I don't want nobody to put their hands on my son. I don't want my son to put their hands on no one else, but that emotional manipulation, scare tactics, guilt tactics. I'm gonna leave you if you do this or do that. I'm gonna ruin you. A lot of
Yeah.
men feel away. They want to protect their space and what they stand for as well. Sometimes that matters to them. You got physical aggression where these women think that just because they don't expect a man to put their hands on you, they can now
Right.
you could put your hands on this man. I had a situation like that recently. And it's like, hold on. We got to pause for a second. We're not going to get physical. But then, like you said, the verbal disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
They mask that shit like it's called attitude or sass. Nah, that could be abusive. Like you keep beating a man down, talking disrespectful. It's a form of abuse for me. But then one of the big ones that we always talk about is that public humiliation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Social media shaming. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go
Yeah.
online, everybody want to put your business out there. But how does that make that person feel? And right now we're talking about the woman to the man. So I kind of
Mhm.
agree with you guys on that. And it's just a hard situation, but it definitely can go both ways because at the end of the day, abuse is really about a behavior. It's not a gender. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I kind of get emotional about that. Like I said, I'm a boy mom and I definitely raise them to never put their hands on, don't mentally abuse someone, it could kind of go on all forms. But how does it feel when it's being happened to them and society looks at that different and lessens the blow?
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a daughter and a son, and I definitely teach my daughter, you can you put your hands on somebody. It don't matter if it's male or female. Expect that they can and will hit you back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Like
talk
there's
about that
Mm-hmm.
spinoff because
you
I know
know,
what everybody's thinking right now. So let me put it out there for you, right? In a situation where a man is physically abusive to a woman, your family may be saying what? What would they tell you you need to do to stop this abuse to protect yourself? What would that be? What are some of those things?
I
leave.
absolutely leave. Yeah, they're gonna tell you to leave. That's gonna be the primary go-to
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
in those situations because that just seems like the more logical thing to do is to leave. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we've seen time and time again where it can turn extremely violent, where certain things happen to people with sticking in those situations.
Right.
I won't mention names, but I've actually stepped in between several abusive relationships when it comes to siblings and different things where I've actually had to stop a sibling, like, bro, we don't do that. We don't do that. As
Mm-hmm.
a sister, to kind of change the dynamics there and get him to understand that it's more important to leave than putting your freedom on the line. You got kids, safety, all that stuff. Like it's more important to leave. So I've had that conversation before. And I think another thing, I'm gonna let y'all answer before I go into that. Go ahead, Tope.
Oh no, I definitely agree with you. The most common thing that you would want to tell somebody to do is leave. That's just what naturally comes out. However, I guess you would kind of also have to consider I don't want to say the bigger picture, but the outliers of the whole thing. Like, what are the limits? Like, where do we draw the line? If somebody's abusive to you once, do you stay and give it another chance, or do you just be like, you know what? Now I'm not even gonna take that risk. I'm out. Where do we say it's okay to try to go to therapy and see can we work that situation out? So I'm kind of like on the fence about telling somebody to just bounce. I don't I don't know.
I mean, everybody's situation, Toby, is different. So you can't really even put that out there. So I can get your reservations with that. But sometimes in situations, I know we've all seen it and heard of it where it gets very abusive and that woman is to protect themselves at all costs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about that
Mm-hmm.
man? Does he protect himself at all costs? Is he looked at differently because he may have had to get physical in order to protect himself? All I'm saying is I love to hear from the audience on this question. Like I said, it's definitely a little bit uncomfortable. It's something that's talked about. It's a question that was posed to us. And we'd like to get your views and your points on that abuse from a woman to a man and how that looks and how that works. And what's your best advice on that?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm,
Ash,
for
but you
sure.
said you had something else you wanted to throw out there.
Yeah, I do. I think that also I just don't want to seem like it's just perfect patty around here. I think for any of us, I to get to this point where we're having this topic, guys, I think that we had to learn certain things in life because we all have been young and immature. And people can
Absolutely.
change. You know what I mean? Right.
Mhm.
Like, so people can change. So this is not necessarily about bashing people, but it's about bringing awareness. And if you are finding yourself like being that person who needs to get that sense of maturity, I think one of you mentioned like, hey, you know what? Therapy is a good look for that and something that can help you long term. So it's not about necessarily just leaving your spouse. I think Tobie, that's what you were saying, but
Right.
really evaluating the situation in totality, right? Because I know me, I have 5 brothers. Okay. So to
Mhm.
me, what I may have considered to be just like me taking up for myself or me, whatever, it would probably fall under the truly the forms of being abusive or me just being smart at the mouth and all that, like, hey, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to learn and develop past that point. So my
Right.
question for you ladies, just to kind of keep it raw and real, do you guys feel like you have had to overcome specific things in your life to say that I need to change in a way, whether it's how you speak to your spouse or how you react to your spouse? And what are some of the things that you do to kind of keep yourself calm and stay within the lesson that you learned as you grew?
Yeah, I can definitely say for me, when I was younger, I used to, just in the dating realm, I used to definitely pop off at the mouth. I could down play a motherfucker real quick, smooth. But I definitely had to learn, and it took him telling me, you always degraded me, you always put me down, you wasn't never really supportive of whatever. And I had to say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you know what? That's true. I need to, when I'm upset, yeah, I'm a Taurus. When I'm upset, I need to just, stop, think about what I'm saying, think about what I want to do, step away for a minute, and then come back when cooler heads prevail. Let me think about what I'm gonna say to you, how I'm gonna handle this situation before I come out my mouth.
Well, for me, I think it's more about education and growth. As you get older, you realize that and you understand that there's different forms of abuse, right? It's not just physical, it's mental, it's verbal, it's all of these things that can make somebody feel away. That's
Yeah.
just like what you were saying, Toby. So when you kind of get wiser, you're able to do things like take those pauses. I know for me, like we may have popped off at the mouth, but were you degrading somebody? Did you make somebody feel away? We got a lot of people that react based off what you may say to them, and they take that shit to the grave. Like, it's a lot behind this. So if you find yourself, like Ash was saying, in a situation like that, physical, mental, you know, verbal, I want you to pause for a second and think about yourself and realize the situation that you're in so that you know what your next move is. Because again,
Mhm.
everybody's situation is different. I'm not here to tell you how it is in your household or what that situation looks like for you, but understand the writing on the wall and the signs. That's all that I'm saying.
I have a question for y'all.
What you got?
Have you guys ever been in a situation where you had a friend and they were in an abusive situation and you
Mm-hmm.
maybe told them or recommended that they leave and then they didn't? Like, how do you proceed from there with that friend?
I have dealt with that. I have. I can be honest with you. I did. And I'm like, this happened years ago, maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, whatever. But the situation was a friend. She wasn't really a close friend, but she was someone we were developing a relationship, her and her boyfriend, fiance, whoever nigga
Mm-hmm.
was, whatever you want to call him. And,
Mhm.
she did come to me and she expressed that things had gotten physical. And again, this was my husband's friend. So, but me, I'm like, girl, hell no. Like the stuff that she was expressing to me, like that, no, I ain't no coming back. Like, some real fucked up things were happening to her. And it was to the point where I was like, he was in the living room and we were in the kitchen talking. I was like, you gotta go. You have to
Yeah.
leave him. But you know what happened? And I'll be honest, this is kind of what took me away from kind of like going in and talking to people about certain situations. You live and you grow. But she went back and told him what I said. He was very pissed off at me.
I'm sure.
You come over to my house if you want to. It ain't gonna go like you think it's gonna go, my guy. If you watching this, okay. But you know, that was really what it was. Like she went back and she said that she told me I should leave you, which was a fact. I mean, the abuse that she was suffering from, she should have never stayed, and she still stayed. I don't know what's going on because I don't talk to him. And he came back to my husband, was like, "Hey man, your wife told my girl that I need to leave." And of course, my husband was, nigga, uh, if you knocking her upside her head, yeah, that's what my wife gonna say. In what? What
Yeah.
you got? I ain't seen him since. I don't know how that went, what that conversation was, but that's what it was. But it also kind of made me a little reserved. I don't know how y'all feel about this, about speaking on certain things, because I
Mm-hmm.
have seen with men and women, sometimes they do run back and they'll tell their spouse, and now you're in the middle of something when you were just trying to support the situation.
Right.
So that has also made me kind of hesitant on speaking on things, because typically people, not typical, but sometimes people end up staying and they put you in the damn middle like it's your fault. Like, hold on,
Right.
baby, I was just
Well,
trying to help.
and you know what? That's what goes back. You know, if you don't feel like you're gonna leave someone, keep your skeletons in your house. If you're seeking for help,
Yeah.
don't put people involved. That's one of those family things.
Exactly.
However, some women, Ash, they feel like they deserve it. Some men feel like they deserve it. They don't even understand that they're in an abusive situation where you're telling them that they need to leave, and they feel like this is something. So that goes back to roots. And the best thing that I can tell somebody, as this question was put out there on Facebook, is seek some professional help. It's okay to reach out to those hotlines. They have support out there. You can call 211. You can get free assistance, guidance, and help for whatever your mindset is and which way you feel like your help needs to be, because it may be in the situation or it may be mentally within yourself. But seek that help.
And it could be anonymous. So you don't even have to, tell who you are, where you are, and like that until you know you're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but definitely seek the help. So look, ladies, I told you that this was going to be a little uncomfortable because we know that these situations are going on out there and it's pretty unfortunate, right? But this is real life stuff that we talk about, and it leads into relationships, marriages. But how do you overcome these things? Because you can overcome it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But it's all on you. They say weather the storm, but sometimes you got to be the storm and you got to go through it to get through it. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes it may be that scenario, because I've seen some successful situations come out of a bad situation. You know, they say, and I'll leave you with this: a negative plus a positive is a negative. But in my opinion, it's really about how much positive you bring to the table. So with support and a foundation of supportive people that can help get you through it, it can turn out to be a positive situation, ladies. Now, I want to switch gears, because as we're talking about abuse and we're talking about how the tables can turn from man to woman or woman to man, we also got some celebrity news out there that we want to hear about. Ash, what's the tea?
Yes, guys. So this is kind of like hot off the press. Well, the situation is it. I think we kind of
Mm,
know. We're gonna talk about Mr. Stefan Diggs. So Stefan Diggs was accused recently and also charged. There's a difference
mm-hmm,
between being charged though and also being convicted. So let's be clear on that. He was charged with a strangulation charge against his chef. And basically, it was a conflict over some funds. There have been allegations that they also had a sexual relationship,
mm-hmm,
and that this whole situation was taken to a grand jury where they indicted him. He ended up going to court about it. And as of yesterday, he was actually, or either today or yesterday, he actually was found not guilty due to
mm,
a shortage of evidence. A
Mhm.
couple of things that I did notice when I was watching the trial. One of the things, as far as with the evidence, for not the prosecutor, but the defendant, they actually brought a video of this young lady dancing, literally hitting the nay while she was supposed to be getting strangulated by him, right? While she was getting
mm,
strangulated by him.
mm,
Another thing was
Wow.
her stories were not adding up at all, as far as time frame, as far as the different things that she claimed happened. None of it was adding up. So one
mm.
of the big things was this a money grab too, right? Like,
Mm.
it's a lot of different things here. But I think before we go into some of the questions that we pulled, one of the questions that we had asked was really just in regards to the allegations of abuse and also just having that power over someone. First of all, do you guys, in situations like this, when the outcome has very little proof, do you move based off of patterns, personal belief, or do you stay neutral? And of course, we found out again, he was not convicted, even though grand jury and all that stuff happened, he was not convicted. So how do you guys feel about that? Are we looking at him for his patterns? Like, let's just say we never even knew. Are you guys looking at him like he's the guilty one? Or what is it in your mind when you first hear that with him and he's being charged with such a massive charge? What do you think about that?
Well, for me, Ash, it's a lot of allegations that can be put out there on anyone, right? So I'm a person that likes to go with the facts. I'm going to give someone the benefit of the doubt. You're innocent until proven guilty. I'm not going to put shame on you. I'm not going to defame your character or anything like that, because that may not be true. And just like with this situation, this could have spent a million ways where it could have destroyed this man. You understand what I'm saying? Because we do have people out there that just want to attack your character, attack your finances, attack who you are internally. And the shit ain't even true. So where I stand is you're innocent until proven guilty. Show me the facts. Now, I know you also said patterns and background. Now, yeah, we could look at your past and we could say, okay, is the writing on the wall? It could be this or that, or could it have been an argument? But I just like to see both sides. And you got his side, her side, and then in the middle, you somewhere find the truth.
And Ed, before I let you go, Ed, one of the big things I heard you mention, like like what we see in the platform and what happens to him moving forward. One of the big things is, guys, he was recently a free agent. That is going to affect him. It doesn't matter in the NFL. It does not matter to them that you have been acquitted or whatever. They still look at those situations. And with him being a free agent, with them not having enough evidence, and again, him being acquitted, it still could quite possibly affect his entire career.
Absolutely.
His life is still on the line. So what do you think about that too? Like, how do you guys perceive that? And as far as, to me at this point, and again, allegedly, it just feels like it didn't happen. So I feel like this is insane that they even thinking about, scratching him because of this. Like, this is crazy.
Well, you know what? You asked me, and my thing is an eye for an eye. Come on, you can't take out of my pocket for my family how I take care of my family and all of that. So if you could come after me for money, okay, now this turned out not to be true. Now it's that flip side. Now I may have to take you to court for defamation of character. Maybe there's some lawsuits and situations out there for that, because you are now putting me in a situation where I'm looked at differently. My body of work is compromised. So that's kind of where I stand about that. What you think, Tobie?
I mean, you definitely took all the words out of my mouth. I definitely agree. At the end of the day, females be lying sometimes. You can't always trust everything that come out these whole mouths. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you talk about celebrities and people with money, and I, as far as like the judging him off of things that maybe happened in his past, I don't want nobody to never judge me off nothing that happened in my past. So I definitely try to steer away from things like that. I definitely am one of those people that want to know the whole story. I want to know your side of the story, like Eb said, that side of the story. And I want to know, probably from a witness, the bystanders. I want to know from everybody's point of view what really happened, because, everybody got a point of view, right? and even the thing is, it was recorded. So like, what is you lying about? Like, they had all the videos and all of this stuff. So what is you lying about? Like, why even do this? Like, you ain't even do your own investigation to make sure that anybody have proof of shit.
Yeah.
Well, you say he got some money. I hope he got enough money for a law team, because maybe he could get his contracts back and his money back, because this girl tried to get him.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so, but and that's something that I would like recommend, like you were saying, like, we got to stay away from that. The false accusations.
Yes,
we have to move away from that, because even though he's a celebrity, this can affect a lot of people, and we've seen this in the past before. Hell, look at Emmett Till. I mean, I'm just saying, like, there are literally past situations that truly affect people from people making accusations. And luckily, thank God that we are now in the time of video, because Lord have mercy, ain't no telling.
Yes.
There ain't no telling. So Tobie, what I was going to ask you, just a follow-up question, if someone that you love was accused of something like this, would you possibly stand by them, or what would you do? Would you step back away from them? How would you handle that situation?
I think I would not blindly stand behind anybody. That's anybody that I know. I think that if I have witnessed my family member do these things before. I know for a fact they probably have. If it was like probably you probably did do that shit, I probably wouldn't defend you as hard as I would if I wasn't sure or if I didn't know. But yeah, I like I said before, for me, it's a matter of knowing the whole story, getting all the proof, getting all the evidence. I'm not going to just automatically, if somebody accuse you of something, I'm not going to automatically just drop you or, step back from you. I need to know everything that took place before I just, drop a person for sure. What about you, Ed?
Yeah, I definitely feel that way. My loyalty is 10 toes deep. You got to show me proof. I don't just go off of what people tell me. That's just like even within a friendship. Me and you could be friends. Somebody else coming on the outside telling me, oh, you did this, that, and the third. But I know your character. I know you as a person. You got to show me proof. You can't just tell me anything. I ain't falling for that. I ain't going for it.
Right.
That's not how my loyalty stick.
Exactly.
So do you feel like you would be giving, at what point does like benefit of the doubt turn into like ignoring red flags though? For you, yeah. Like I know you, but
that one is a sticky one. Because again, I truly believe in that benefit of the doubt. I mean, and I know you could have a past situation. You could have been guilty of whooping that ass prior to, or getting into some fights and publicly showing that you're an asshole and you're guilty. You could be guilty of this charge. However, because life is life in this day and age, I really want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. So, Ash, I got to stand on that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know, you know what, I think that kind of goes into like these pastors and things like that. Like, that's maybe out here molesting kids or whatever. Like you have whole congregations that swear they know this man, like they or female, whatever. They know this person and they know their character, and surely they wouldn't be doing this stuff, but kind of find out in the background they was really doing that shit.
Yeah.
So it kind of go both ways, right? Guess what? What is our audience thinking? What are you guys thinking? We want to know what you thinking. Right now, we need y'all to drop the comments. We need y'all to inbox us. We need y'all to let us know what are your thoughts on abuse, false accusations, and standing behind the truth, or whether you just gonna fall back and let the cards play out. So I really want to hear from them. I can't wait to tap into these comments once we, get these clips out here, because it's important. And I really would like to take this back, because this is valuable information that I don't got to pay for. I mean, we got a lot of information out there in this world, a lot of talent, a lot of people that's viewing this, that's saying, hey, I may have some knowledge on this, or maybe you can help somebody with this. You never know when you're going to come across a situation. So I can't wait to stay tuned. I will.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of like, close this conversation up, I personally believe, I know that at the beginning of the conversation, we were talking about men. One thing that I do want to say in regards to men, it is okay to speak up when you feel like you are in abusive situations. You don't have to hold on to it. It is not something that you have to accept. We really feel passionate about this because, like we said, we have sons, we have nephews, uncles, da-da-das. So we really want to push that point that your voice actually matters in different spaces. So the whole situation of I have to be a man in my child, it just doesn't stand. Now we're in 2026. Okay. We understand mental health and abuse a lot better than what was before. Okay. Right. I just want to say that.
And you know what, Ash? This is really touching us, and we talked about this before we even went live with this topic, but I agree with you 1000%. Gentlemen, men, but right now we're talking about the gentlemen. Abuse is abuse, no matter who starts it. No one should be expected to just take that. It's not okay. It's not okay. Boundaries must be enforced. And I don't care if you're a man or a woman. So please stand on that. Get out there. Seek some help. You don't got to feel like your manhood is taken away from you. You're going to lose your black card if you speak up. It makes you feel weak. No, you're human. You have rights, and it's not okay.
And you deserve to be respected and treated well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, ladies. I think that we have come to the end. I think this has been a heavy topic, man. Oh my goodness.
Heavy.
I don't think we've gone this hard and it's heavy. I think this is the first time, especially back to back. My goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and you want to wrap it up, because we got a lot more to do, y'all. We got other episodes and all type of stuff coming. So what's up? What's up?
Yeah, we could wrap this up, but like Ash said, Tobie said, what we're saying is seek some help. You're not alone out there. You have some support. You can tap into these hotlines. You can tap into 211. You can tap into your support groups. You can tap into your insurance. Listen, just tap in. But until the next time, we'll see you at the next episode, guys.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. So when y'all find somebody that ain't whooping your ass or verbally abusing you, then y'all make sure y'all check out that events tab and come out and join us at the Great Big Game Show, June 20th. And look out for the date for the sneaker ball. I'm going to say save the date for July 24th, July 25th. Save the date and RSVP. Do that.
Thank y'all for joining. We will catch y'all on the next live. Make sure that you follow us, Facebook, Instagram, and also we have StreamYard, of course. And then we will be moving to TikTok very soon. We'll be going on that platform, but also
YouTube.
Our Facebook group and YouTube. Thank you, girl. It's so many now. We moving on up. We moving on up, right? Make sure y'all follow all those platforms. Look, man, they gonna take our monitoring. Our
oh yeah, that's right.
That I'm working on, right? Chill. But anyway,
All right.
thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good one.
All right.